People hated Cartoon Link and everything about the cel-shaded art style when the Wind Waker released. A push to more dark, realistically detailed graphics was the industry direction of the time. This decision split the fan base, with many saying Nintendo ruined the Zelda franchise. I even had a friend tell me it was a good thing my GameCube came with a handle so I could throw it in the trash where it belongs. Personally, I loved the look, and I still do. It held up incredibly well. The game design, on the other hand, maybe didn't age as well as I thought. Welcome to completion number 22 of the Potato Backlog Project. Stick around to the end of the video for the world famous Tater Raider, and let's talk about the Wind Waker. Released on the GameCube in late 2002 and again in 2013 with a remastered HD offering on the ill-fated Wii U, the Wind Waker may not have resonated well with people of the time, but fast forward 20 years and the game has proven a lot of gamers and critics wrong. The art style and cel-shaded look have only grown in popularity over the years, and it's hard to imagine the Wind Waker looking any other way. One of my favorite things about the art style outside of the lush, vibrant colors of the world is the emotions on Link's face. They are played up for humor at points, he reacts to different things in interesting ways. It was a nice change of pace in the gaming space at the time. I felt it really gave Link more personality and helped the game and characters come to life. If you get some time, Google some of the other AAA games that released in 2002 and have a look at what their faces and facial expressions look like. You might have a good chuckle. The addition of these expressions also served a gameplay purpose. They're used as visual cues to help you explore the world around you. Link's eyes will look at things of interest when you're near them to help you find key items or to find clues you might need to solve a current puzzle. This is a game where you need to pay attention to a lot of things. If you plan to play this game with no walkthrough or guide, you should maybe have a notepad with you. I very rarely look to guides myself, I prefer a blind playthrough, but there were 2 times during this playthrough that I needed to look at the guide because I was stuck. The game is vast and long, but it's very linear in nature. You'll get to points where you can't further the story unless you do one specific thing, and you may have missed the clue or hint to that thing 2 to 3 hours prior. It is very easy to find yourself sailing aimlessly around looking for the next thing you need to do. Your handy dandy ship will help you from time to time, but the game wants you to explore all the islands, see everything you can see for yourself, and doesn't usually shove the answers directly in your face. The story for me is one of the strongest in the series. It's interesting within the lore of the game, the Triforce, the Master Sword, and the timeless battle between good and evil that happens over and over again. There are some twists and turns, no spoilers, but I was satisfied with how everything played out. This is classic 3D Legend of Zelda gameplay where you explore a bit and you talk to some people, find a dungeon, get the item you need to move on to the next thing, rinse and repeat for the most part. This is me dumbing down the loop considerably, but that is essentially the formula, and it works well for the most part. The big flaw for me here is the size of the world itself and the amount of time you spend sailing back and forth. There just isn't enough interesting things happening in between the places, and a lot of time is just simply wasted traveling. You'll find areas of interest only to discover you don't have the item needed to complete the task there, and you'll have to come all the way back at some point in the future. In comparison, a modern game like Breath of the Wild gives you all the tools you need to solve anything you might happen upon in a much larger world. They attempted a remedy in the HD release with the addition of the quick sail. This allows you to sail much faster, and it makes it so you don't constantly need to change the wind's direction to get to where you need to go. This does help a ton, but the world design and pacing of the game still suffers due to the way things are set up and the order you need to do some of the stuff. I was reminded of why I abandoned my original GameCube playthrough all those years before. Near the end of the game, there is an hours-long fetch quest line that is just too much. They shorten what you need to do for this quest in the HD versus the GameCube version, but it still feels extremely long. It leaves a bad taste near the end of the game. I read after I finished that there was a plan for 2 more dungeons, but time constraints had them put together this quest line instead. I would have rather preferred they just leave the entire thing out. The game would still clock in at a hefty playtime to finish without it, and you would move from one exciting thing onto the final exciting thing of the game and finish very strong. The final boss battles are awesome, and they almost make up for it, but it was something that for me it just wasn't fun. That entire section is just bad game design. It wasn't good back then, and it definitely isn't good today. The battle and move system itself is very reminiscent of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, maybe tightened up a little bit, but it feels essentially the same to me overall. You target lock bad guys and set items to different buttons for use. Some of your items bring you into a first-person view to help you navigate puzzles and select multiple targets at the same time depending on the item. Innovative stuff when Ocarina came out, and still works well here for the needs of the game. Link auto jumps in this game as he did in the previous 3D games. This is still a source of frustration for me, because whether you jump or not when moving by a ledge will be determined by how fast you are going. There were some frustrating times I got some jumps when I did not want them. Run too close to the side of a ledge and you might just leap right over. Not game breaking overall, and works well enough within the designs of the world, but it definitely feels dated by today's standards. So the Wind Waker sits in a funny spot for me. I enjoyed the game. I really liked the story. Visually, the game is memorable and beautiful in its own right. The sound design is absolutely incredible, but gameplay-wise, it really left a lot to be desired for me. The downtime massively outweighed the actual fun gameplay time due to the design choices of the world created. 3 happy potato faces out of 5. The Zelda fanboy in me wanted to give it 4, but the integrity of the entire Tater Raider system would have been at risk. We can't let some kid's dreams of a Master Sword and saving Hyrule cloud his judgment. The dungeons were good, but not incredible. They were also few and far between, and just the overall experience felt bogged down and a little slower than it had to be. And in my opinion, just doesn't really hold up. And maybe never did. I'll have to go back and read some reviews from back when the game released and see what other people thought. When the game shines though, it shines bright. If you like Zelda games, find a Wii U and find a copy of the game and play it. With that, the backlog project rolls on. Be kind to yourselves and those that deserve it. We are on to the next one. Oh man. Whoa. People of the world, this is your leader. Get it done quick because I'm an idiot in a toque that's friggin' plus 30. Link has Betty Davis eye. If you plan to play this game with no rock and roll, la-di-da-di, la-di-da. Discover you don't have the item to complete They attempted to remedy. Why are you still here? Go watch another Jimmy Potato video.